This is Justin Scoop on Wednesday, April 24th, 2024. There's a lot of lines in here, so this is just continuing on from Monday's video. Tuesday, we ran up real quick, got right into the moving averages, just kind of chopped up a little bit higher. I put this channel in during the day on Tuesday, yesterday, and then was looking to see, okay, what are we going to do? And we actually opened up above it, came right back in, bounced right off of the moving average here, bounced again. We were just bouncing right off of the high from yesterday. And then we were kind of forming a bit of a triangle here, ultimately broke down. Now I was tied up pretty much the whole morning and didn't get a chance to really look at the market till I think it was somewhere over in here, and it was already moving up. So these lines I drew in after when it was up over here, I'm like, okay, this is probably going to keep running. It really ran, and I sure do wish that I had uh, gotten right back into the charts and gotten into this. But it really didn't give a great opportunity to get in bullish on a 3 minute. So it's in this downtrend. It's looking like maybe it's going to push up, comes right back in, kind of get a little bit of a double bottom here, and starts to break out. You had some resting candles like this one, but it didn't really give you a bit of a pullback to really have a good entry point. And by the time it was up here, it's like, okay, this looks like it's going to keep going. So I had this channel drawn on a 1 minute. I had it alerting on a 1 minute if we were to exit the channel. So let's go down to a 1 minute to see what was really happening through here. And I think I got this line in once I kind of put in some of those. So I was tweaking a little bit. And it really seemed to follow this really well. I do really like going down to these lower time frames, especially when we get these faster moves, these just, I guess, rally. It's just there's I don't want to say there's capitulation. It's not quite as strong as that. It's just there's just a lot of buying going on. And so it's really a question of, okay, how high is it going to go? That kind of thing. And if we go down to a 30-second chart, you can see it fits even better. Um, we kind of pushed up to this, well, this line after, but um, we just about came back up to those peaks a couple of times. And as we were getting close to, I think this is the 20 and then this is the 10, as we were getting close to those, it's like, okay, we should keep pushing past this one, the teal one here. Wonder if we'll get past yesterday's high, and then we should run out of steam. Like this is a really strong move up. We should really run out of steam up past the green one here. The other thing that was going on is it started to go really sideways up in here. So, we kind of had some sideways activity here, kept pushing up to make a new high, chopped sideways, bounced off the bottom a few times, got back up to the top or about up to the top. And then over here, it's like, okay, you're going sideways. If we break out, it's probably not going to amount to much. And sure enough, the bullish steam had just run out and we started to roll down. And then, okay, there's buyers coming in right off the moving average here. That's not working. We've got some bear candles here looking like they're trying to hold yesterday's high. It already failed earlier today, continues on down. It's like, okay, what's going to happen now? I was already in bearish. Don't remember what time it was. Let me see if I can check real quick. So I was entering, right at 1 o'clock Central Time. So I was in as soon as I could be. I'm like, I'm gonna wait for it to break this channel. And it didn't really give it much of a retest on the bull move from that downtrend channel. Let me wait till it's actually getting out of the channel here. I really wanted to buy here. I'm like, this looks like it could push up a little bit more. So again, I'm down on a 30-second chart. Here's a 15-second chart. And it's like, okay, it's going real sideways. It's just holding up right in this area. It should push up. Okay, it's starting to fail that. Now, if we really fail, like if I know I'm wrong, if we get right back into this channel and continue on up, we had already had a massive move, even more massive on a 15-second chart, right? Okay, so let's go back to something a little more familiar. Or if you don't subscribe to one of these plans on TradingView, then you don't even have the seconds charts, um, because I can go down to 1 second. I don't really do that. 15 is about my limit, 15 seconds. So, but you just start to see the trends a little more easily, especially when we're not getting a pullback. These are just a single bear candle, single bear candle, single bear. It's like, how do you get the right fit with that angle? Because, if you drew it this way on a 3 minute, it should be actually a little bit lower. And so if I tweak this a little bit lower, you can see what that does. I guess it kind of makes X marks the spot right here. So that was the other thing I was going to go back to. So I've got white channels here. What is this white channel? What is that line doing? If you zoom back out, that's what I drew yesterday. And I had this on the chart today. I had this channel here, and we ran right back up into that level. This is a phenomenal retest of that channel where we looked like we were breaking above it today. We opened above it, came right back in, broke down, and just got a really nice long retest. This is an amazing S curve coming back down here. So I was in this bearish, riding this lower, and thinking, okay, we'll probably get a little bit of bounce here. We should roll down. And I was looking for, a steeper, just like we had a really steep move up, I was looking for a steeper move to continue down. And then that started to fail here. We did push back up above the moving average, came back down, threw in some lower wicks, and really rallied right up into yesterday's high. Um, so I know I've got a number of lines on here, but there was a number of opportunities to trade this. Let's go down and look at, okay, so here's the daily. So we ended up having a bear candle in between some moving averages here. This is on the 3 minute. And so I'll draw some fresh stuff in here. So you kind of have some consolidation with like a triangle here or an amazing indecisive candle here. And then you break down, do some S curving, break down. This is a really massive candle. Look at that RSI spike. And so, yep, that rolls down again. And this was that kind of downtrend that we ultimately broke out of late morning, kind of midday. Really nice rally right back up into the moving averages. And then I was getting in this bearish up here, looking at, okay, I don't expect this level, previous day's low, basically to hold. I want it to contend with some of the highs in here, just because there's going to be more bulls coming in. They're going to be trying to buy it off this level. They're late. It's already had this kind of a move here. Let's just say, what if they're wrong? And let's ride this back down. And so, because I was looking for a bigger move, I really only tightened my stop up over here. And actually, I think it was right about where the 10 exponential moving average was. And at this point, because I'd been in from here and I was in the 50-50 put, looking for a move back down to the low, didn't get it. Um, I had, well, we can go over to the option. Let me clear this out and switch over here. Okay, so we had already had a really nice move on this option. It was putting in some lows around 2, a little more than 2 here, and then rallied up to around 10. That's a phenomenal. I wasn't in any of that. I waited for all this. I looked at this option. 50-50 is a nice round number for an option, and saw that, okay, it's taken out the 2. We should keep going down, maybe into the 1 range. And so I was actually thinking, okay, we'll probably pull back a little further. The RSI on this was this pegging at 0? Yep. So this was pegging at 0 through here. It's like it's not done selling, and that was during that bull rally, or the option wasn't done selling when SPX was rallying. And so I set up an order. I'm like, I'm going to get it at 0.5 and see what we can do. And sure enough, it filled at 1 o'clock at the low price right here in this candle. And so the low was 0.5. I actually got a fill at 0.5, which was great. And then all of a sudden, it just started to work. And wish I had bought much more. That rallied up. I was looking for a target up at 5.5, just retracing back up into, at this point, enough theta decay has happened. I don't expect to get back up to 10, but okay, let's get up to 550. And so each contract could be worth from 0.5 up to 5.5. That's a really nice gain. You'd be getting back up into some of the lows through here, and just seemed reasonable. So we had that first initial push, got up past 2, pulled back into the 1, into about 1, and then rallied back up past 2. And that's when it's like, okay, this doesn't seem like it's really working that well. And I was out at, so I moved my stop only to one. I'm like, I'm giving this plenty of room. I've already held the low of one right here. Let me just get that low. I'll lock in some gains. And so I was out at 143 during this candle, and looks like I sold it. So I bought this low at zero point 0.5 and I sold this low with a stop at exactly one. Came down a tiny bit further, 0.95, sorry, 0.85, and then moved all the way back up to two. It's like, oh, is it going to go now? Well, no, it didn't. It rolled back down. And so that's where back here, um, it stopped me out on, I think it was this candle, pushed up just a tiny bit further past the 10 EMA here, or past the 10 EMA, and then rolled back down. And so at this point, it's like, okay, it's, put in this low, it made this low, now it made another low. But each one of these, like, okay, we got a nice retracement, nice retracement. Okay, this is a big retracement. Like something has changed here. And then each of these lows, like here's a low, so this range and then this range, and you can tell, okay, that's not as far, that's not as big of a bear move back down. The bear move is basically done. Like these are your kind of signals that this seems like it's reversing, puts in kind of a double bottom here, a little bit of a rest, and then continues to rally back up. Um, these moves look obviously much bigger on a 1 minute chart or something. Here on the 3 minute, you can still wait for those things to happen. Like there's a 10 EMA candle, but there's plenty of ways to play this. I still made a small gain, and it's just because I had a target that, let's see, if this had continued pushing down, I probably would have hit target about here, um, with like a 5.5 in the option. And with the size of these two bear candles here, it's like, okay, this could totally keep going. But if it retraces too much, like I still want to just take a gain from this. I've missed a big move here. I've missed a big move here. Let me get something out of this. It worked. But this is just how the markets move. These are the S curves like this. And so I was happy with that trade. It was the only trade I took today. I just had a lot of other things going on throughout the day and had a small win. So didn't even really look at the calls. If we go back here, here's the 5075 call. So you can see this. Uh, so back to the trade I made on Monday where I bought at 1.25, I think it was an 1155. This option, the 5075 strike call, could have had just about the same setup just about 10 minutes earlier, buying at 1.25. Here's a low of 1.2. That definitely would have filled. And then that would have been a phenomenal move. You could have just been trailing your stop, keep moving up your target. And, again, looking for, well, what area should we look for this to get into? Now, when it was getting into the lows of this area, it was back here. So the lows here would have corresponded to around this price, right around at the money. And so that was hitting at the money right about 1236. So let's go back to 1236. That would have been here. So getting out at like 8 would have been comfortable. So buy at 1.25, get out probably 8.25 would be a nice target there just to get a nice round number out. But that's $700. Um, it's not really at a great key level anywhere in here. Like it would have been phenomenal if it had pushed back up into these lows close to 12, but it had just lost so much time decay on that. And then it was really losing momentum as it was going up here. It was just kind of slowing. We're into this area. It really needed another push up, which it really had lost all of its energy to do that. It rallied strong, but then once it rested, it really did not have the follow through. So that is what I mean here. Like it really moved nicely up, started to rest, really should have continued, but there was so much selling. You have one, two, three really big bear candles right in the same area that this was trying to get back into. So it totally made sense that we had some more selling come in. So we have, one, two, three big bear candles there. If you squint, you could say, okay, these two are kind of another big candle together, this one, and then these two also. So like, and then down here. So there's a number of places where the bears just pushed it quickly down. And so I guess with that in hindsight, I should have anticipated a bigger move like this. Maybe don't get my stop there, be okay with either just still losing everything I've risked. This was an absolute zero play. Um, move my target closer once it, showed me the price above two and above two, but not quite three, and then just get out, you know, instead of moving my stop. Because moving your stop, you're inviting any of these things that are pulling back to just suck out any of that premium. And that's what happened, like I said, I'm happy that I got the win. Looking at this, I think I would have played it, should have played it better. Just get out with a larger gain as it's moving in that direction. And there wasn't really too much more that was going to happen with this much left in the day, unless it was just going to have that kind of capitulation, which it wasn't really setting up to be that sort of a capitulation day. It really set up to be a nice technical day with um, with just some of these levels. This kind of triangle shape and then a retest of that. That was an incredible S curve that really just you had to wait an hour for it to really start to do anything. Uh, so anybody who's quick out the gate, or following those folks who set up trades right away, it's like that's me. I'm more patient, waiting for that certain level, looking for that premium to be pulled out of the options, and just kind of be more meticulous later in the day, and had some great opportunities, both bullish and bearish later in the day, as well as after that hour, just riding that down. And I had a meeting going from about 9:30, actually 9:30 here till past 11, and I had other stuff going on. I think around till noon. Well, can't recall now if I got to look at. I had so much other stuff going on that I couldn't get into a rhythm of looking at the market, and so I was seeing it was when it was here, and I could have been like, "Oh, it's going up. I should just buy." And yeah, that could have worked, but it's like I already missed a bigger move here. How much more is it going to go? I knew that all of this was some really good resistance up here, so I was anticipating, okay, should get up there. Also corresponds to the moving average. Let's wait on that, and that's what I did, and it worked. All right, hope that helps.